You're listening to Expertly Said, a podcast on the art and impact of communication. I'm Kristen Sweeney, founder and CEO of Every Little Word. My guest today is Tony Cohn, Director of Customer Marketing at Everflow Partner Marketing Platform. Tony has been in the performance marketing space for over 15 years and has extensive experience in creating content that breaks down tech jargon into tangible concepts. Known as the head of Razzle Dazzle at Everflow, Tony leads the company's content efforts, including case studies, articles, and all sales enablement document creation. Tony's an avid runner, Mets fan, and full-time hater of cucumbers. Currently, Tony's leading Everflow's efforts to produce quality content at AI speeds. Tony, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad you got that cucumber note in there. That's very important.
I don't think we've yet had a guest who's given us such a succinct but comprehensive bio of who they are.
Yes. I'm glad I can do that. Fantastic.
And if in the current state of things, as a Mets fan, am I saying I'm sorry? Am I saying like great job? I'm not really kind of up on what the state of the union is there.
Yeah, I mean, we got rid of a lot of kind of fan favorites, and so we're rebuilding, and I think it's going to be good, but it's kind of the morale's a little low for the team because we're saying goodbye to a lot of people that were a big part of our team for a while. But yeah, I think it'll be all right. I think it's just going to be a little bit down, but I think next year will be exciting. So I'm optimistic.
Awesome. Hope springs eternal. Love it.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. So Tony, tell us a little bit more about your origin story. Kind of how did you get involved in content and marketing, and what was the journey to where you are today?
Yeah, so I started out and I got my degree in public relations and in communications, and so I was always really good at writing and just kind of trying to make things seem more human because there's so many different, jargon-filled ways to present a business and ways to present concepts. And so my goal, and like I've always just believed in just trying to make things like that everybody can understand. And so, yeah, after college, I kind of went into some nonprofits, and from there, with nonprofits, you're allowed to do pretty much everything. So, like, got a ton of experience with that and doing things like press releases to articles to like brochures to event promotions, so all these different types of content things. And it really opened me up to getting into like more on working with like an official marketing and advertising company. And so from there I went into just through LinkedIn. I just met some people on LinkedIn and just introduced myself, and I ended up working at in an outsourced program management company. And so they manage a bunch of different programs, and so affiliate programs. And so I got a really good experience there. And then just sort of, just kind of dove into the affiliate space. So since then I worked for like an affiliate network and then another affiliate network. And now I'm with essentially an affiliate market platform. And so I've brought like my content side of things to everything I do. So like for me, I personally, like I don't think would be like a strong salesperson. Like I don't know how anybody kind of does that. It seems very intense, and I feel like my strengths are just kind of presenting ideas and letting the information do the talking, helping our team succeed. So yeah, at Everflow, I've been doing just kind of leading the charge as far as case studies, one-page sheets, anything we can do to make things make sense to people. And so that's kind of been my philosophy through the years. So
nice. I love going back to what you said about nonprofits. I think you said it as you're allowed to do everything. I think a lot of people would not phrase it that way, right? But it's really interesting. I myself come from just a really sort of strange and wacky generalist background. That's part of being an actor, is you have a million day jobs. And so, marketing, communications, eventually became a clearer path for me. But I do think that we're kind of seeing again, and I don't want to tease too much. I know we're going to talk a lot about AI in our One Big Idea section, but this idea that the more AI can support, the broader skill set you're being asked to sort of take on. And so I'll be interested to see where generalists or folks who have that kind of broad background have an advantage potentially. And I just love that you framed it as opportunity, like allowed to do everything, got the chance to do everything versus, oh, we had no money and I had to take everything on. So, positive reframe. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was at the time. It is kind of when you're in it, you kind of think about oh yeah, all the money situation is tough. Also, you can't like climbing the corporate ladder there is not really gonna work out. And so yeah, it's kind of it definitely is a challenging thing. But yeah, we were able to do so many cool things. And like I worked on an event where like it was a bike ride around Lake Tahoe, and you basically people ride like 100 miles and they split up over multiple days, and stuff like that, which I never would have had experience like that. So it was definitely cool. And yeah, I think with AI too, it's just these people now can be more creative with how they do things. So, maybe if they're spending time with putting together like a fundraiser email or something, they could just use that to AI to make that shorter, or AI to automatically send things. So it can definitely help them work with limited resources. So I think it's
Yeah.
definitely going to be a positive for the nonprofit sector for sure.
Yeah. And this other idea that I'm kind of teasing out of this a little bit, I guess, is I don't know. I think of content often as a connective tissue across an organization, right? And I think we're probably starting to see for multiple reasons. One being that it just makes strategically a lot more sense that content moves out of silos, and it is part of your events, right? Because there is content that is part of the events. It's part of sales, it's part of marketing, it's part of customer success. It really it is this function that kind of lives across the whole organization versus just being put kind of in marketing, maybe. So um, that I guess my point is like that breadth of experience, I think, can really inform and be informed by specialization in content because it is relevant and shows up in so many places.
For sure, for sure. It's interesting. And I think content for a while was, yeah, like you said, it was locked in this silo, and it's kind of in the marketing area. And we've seen at Everflow in the last year or so, like content is now being an active part of the business. It's an actively it was always being sent out to prospects and always being used in the general sense, like newsletters, things like that. But now it's like being repurposed to create articles just from conversations. It's being used to create testimonials quickly. It's being used to help with sales, like customize presentation material. So it's like it's being more utilized, and also we're seeing it just sources that have been out there for a while are finally getting credit in search engines, and so it's really interesting time for content, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I want to dig into a little bit more to the partner marketing. So whether that's through telling us more about Everflow specifically or affiliate partner marketing in general, it's not core area of expertise of mine, and I'm really interested to kind of dig into the incentives and how you kind of get in buyers' minds, um, because I think we've probably all had the experience of being told like, "Oh yeah, just have a conversation, set up a referral system, set up a partnership." Easier said than done, right? 99% of those kind of efforts kind of go nowhere. So, um, tell us a little bit more about partner affiliate marketing. Just more
Yeah, for sure.
broadly, set the context for us.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an interesting thing. So yeah, with affiliate and partner marketing, they're kind of the same process. The main thing is what you want to do is you want to have others sell for you. So essentially, doing that on a performance basis. So you want to essentially extend your sales force and extend your marketing efforts to a bunch of different areas. So you can have like individuals promoting like what you have to offer. You can have companies promoting what you have to offer. It's a way to just extend your sales force. And the cool thing about it is that no matter what the economy is doing, so whether things are down or up, there's always a way to it's something that never gets cut for budget wise because you're only paying on performance. So basically what you're doing is you're setting up a system to have people sell for you. And then with that, you only have to pay them when they're seeing results. So it's really a nice way to extend what you're doing. It's a great way to reach new markets because you could have a product and you're thinking like, well, is this a fit for these types of users? Is it a fit for this region of the world? And you can test it out through affiliate marketing. And the cool thing about it too is there's so much customization. So with an affiliate campaign or a partner marketing campaign, you can have people just submit their information. That could be a type of campaign. You could have them download an app. You could have them watch a video. You can do almost everything that you want. Versus before, when you're talking about like a TV ad or radio ad, you're limited to these certain types of formats. And so, yeah, affiliate marketing, essentially what it does is it allows you to just extend what you do. And the way that Everflow works is that it gives you a platform to kind of manage everything. So you can manage your affiliate efforts, you can manage your referral efforts, you can manage your internal efforts. So say you're doing like buying ads on LinkedIn or buying ads on Facebook or something, you can manage that as well too. And it gives you like a central area to kind of check everything. And so I would say that affiliate marketing and partner marketing is good for companies that want to expand, but they're maybe concerned that, how the economy is going to do, how things are going to end up, and they're just not sure what to do. But yeah, like getting started, what you need is basically just a budget to kind of see, okay, how much you think you can pay out to these people, and then you just need. I would say that you talked about like just talking to an expert. I think that's important too. It is a lot of these concepts sound like they are simple, but they're more complex than that. So like knowing how much you're going to have to end up paying out people, knowing who you want to work with is a big deal. Because with affiliate marketing, you could work with thousands of partners overnight. It's really, really fast moving and the scale is really big. So yeah, knowing who you're going to work with you can use guidance from professionals there too. And then really, yeah, it's just about being able to track everything. So being able to see, okay, how many sales is this affiliate generating, or how many new clients has this partner brought in? And so you can basically do all that, and with Everflow you can customize that. So you can say, hey, you know what, this client's bringing in they brought us 4 new deals this month, but these deals are higher value, so we want to maybe pay them a little bit more. You can do that with sales. You can say, hey, you know what, this client brought in generated 10 sales, but they're all repeat, they're repeat customers, or maybe they're bringing in higher value. So you can basically track that as well too. So you have a lot of different options with it. And it in really kind of simple terms, it's almost like just organizing a new kind of sales channel and having a way to kind of track everything, and putting like your Google Sheets and stuff you do manually into a dashboard, and just kind of scaling that from there.
It's amazing to me always how many problems I hear across industries that people solve. We work with a lot of professional services companies and consulting companies, solutions companies, and how many of the problems when it comes down to it boil down to our clients are managing things in spreadsheets and
Yep.
it's manual and a ton of work. And like
Y-
that's the unsexy way of talking about what the issue
Yeah.
is. But man,
Yep.
Excel is both like the best and the worst invention of
Yeah, I
the
mean, we see
21st
that
century.
when we look at our client data, we see like what platform are you using before, and they'd say nothing, just Google Sheets. That's it.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
they're just managing these multiple sheets, and also too with a platform like Everflow, you're able to know when you have to pay somebody. You're able to see their activity, and before, like I've done that with the Google Sheets, I've been there, and it's you have to go line by line for everything. You have to check if a lead or a sale is accurate. You have to go into these long detailed metrics, and it's such a hassle. And so
Hmm.
just it's I think with affiliate marketing getting started, there is a barrier that people think, well, I don't need a platform because it's I can just do this myself. But the amount of time you waste is like, I mean, it cuts down about 80% of the time that you spend on just general figuring out what you need
Admin
to
of it.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yep.
So tell me about when you see, so your customers who are really successful. This kind of goes to sort of right general good marketing and communications principles of knowing your audience, understanding what makes them tick. Are you guiding them to pleasure? Are you helping them reduce pain? Like, I imagine it is more than we pay you, right? I imagine there are certain levers of like what really incentivizes a successful partner or affiliate program. Is it a good complementary match? Is it equipping them with the right messaging to be able to sell well? Is it just paying the most money? Like, what are the things you see that, because again, I think that there's and I'm speaking as a small business owner, but it's easy to say like, oh, go offer a referral program. And like, you put together a PDF and Zippo happens from that because that's not really what the core of it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about what you see with your customers. Where are these programs really successful?
Yeah, I would say like just from the referral program, it's kind of two parts. With the referral program, what we've seen be successful just from our end is that with our referral program, we ran into the same things that you talk about. Like you have an offer and you're like, hey, this is this you can get refer somebody and get 15% of their earnings or whatever you have. And it's kind of this nebulous thing where you're like, will this ever happen? Will how much money is that? Like it's not a very tangible thing. Like you just don't there's no real incentive to get that moving. And so with us, with our referral program through Everflow, what we're able to do is we'll say, hey, we'll pay you on every part of the referral process. So we'll incentivize you to take action. So the first step is just submitting an email address to somebody who might be interested in. And as long as that email address is like a verifiable business email, then we'll pay you out on that. So we'll give you a certain amount for that. And then we'll say, if this lead now moves into the stage where sales can qualify it and they think it's a good lead, you'll get paid on that as well too. And this goes all the way through the process. And
Wow.
so with us, we've seen that be very successful because it keeps people informed, and they can also look in their own dashboard and say, well, how's this referral doing? Hey, I contacted these guys. Did they work out for you? And you can work with our team to kind of see how that's going. And so for me personally, I've had experience with referral programs and no one's ever cared. Like I said, hey, this is 5% or 10%. And even if you say there's lifetime earnings, is there something that doesn't really resonate with people? And what we've done is we say, hey, if you send somebody, we'll give you $250 just for sending an email. And so it's a really powerful like incentive to get them to take action and think like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, this is not even that much of an effort. I just go to this form, fill it out, and you'd be surprised at how much that actually works. Like people are just like, oh yeah, I know somebody in my network. I think they'd benefit. And so I would just say like with referral programs, it's all about just kind of thinking about how you want to get them to take action versus just putting something out there. And so with Everflow, you could do that you can create a referral program and do that completely on your own. So like for your company, you could say, hey, I'm going to pay out on actions that are important to me. Maybe I want somebody to sign up for a newsletter. That's part of the referral process. Maybe I want them once I have a call with them and I see they're a good fit, then I can reward somebody for that. So there's like giving them incentives to get started is the big deal. And then kind of helping them through the funnel is a big
Hmm.
part of success with referrals. So I would say that is like with the referral side, I say that's how you be successful. And then for the affiliate program side, our customers that do well have a couple things working for them. The first is that they're used to technology, which is either they've had a program before or they work with our team well and they have like a nice background. They understand kind of how the mechanisms work. And then I would say they also are somebody who is willing to work with our different partners. So we have like, besides having an affiliate platform, we do have a marketplace. And so having them connect with marketplace partners and find people that they can work with is a big deal as well too for success. And then I would say too, just utilizing our reports and you seeing like, okay, this report is helping me scale because I'm seeing this nugget of information, which is allowing me to make more growth decisions versus just kind of monitoring how things are going. And so affiliates that take or customers that take time to like dive into things do really well too. So I would say that's kind of a big thing. And lastly, too, we have a lot of different integrations. And so things like meta ads, things like even anything you do, we have basically as part of a core business function, we have integration for. So we have like a DocuSign integration, we have TikTok integration, we have all these different things. So utilizing those tools is also really helpful for our customers because they're able to get more information from us and this kind of rich data that shows like, hey, this customer is a more valuable customer. We want to market more towards this type of customer and that sort of thing. Utilizing tech does really well. I would say that like Everflow is kind of like a Ferrari and you have to like know how to drive it before you have success with it. Like, and I can't drive a stick shift. So like for me, it would be like the maximum. I would have no idea. So yeah, it's kind of like, it's sort of something that you have to, I think successful customers with us, like if they don't know and they don't have a technical background, they will work with our team to kind of understand things. And we have a great support team and they'll go through and they'll explain how things work. They'll explain, why you need to do things. They'll also recommend stuff too. Say, hey, by the way, we noticed that you're using this thing here. Have you considered using this integration? This is why it'll work. Or have you considered using like this kind of reporting, because this will give you some data you might not have thought about. So that's kind of the way we usually see success for our clients.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. I'm I'm curious, as you were talking about, obviously it's a reporting and tracking platform, right? It's making a lot of that easier. But one of the things I was thinking about is how right now there's a lot of conversation around attribution. And I've had multiple guests on the show who have talked about how noisy data can be and how much, you end up chasing metrics. And the thing that's really struck me listening to you is that this kind of program seems like one of the cleanest, truest ways of acquiring data. Like it either comes from that partner, that affiliate, or it doesn't, in a world where so much data is noisy, so loud. I mean, honestly, we were looking at setting up some metrics in my own company, and we were evaluating it was like LinkedIn profile impressions. And I was like, we could look at this, but the way that we can pull the data right now with how we're set up, it won't really tell us like how many new impressions we're getting. We can compare 90-day periods, but then some will drop off if we do it like on a rolling 30. And then, oh, but sometimes we're running a direct outreach campaign and sometimes we're not. And so that's going to impact the number of profile views. But is that really what we're trying to measure? And so it just became like, I was like, oh, wow, this is just too noisy right now. Like it's not, we could measure it. It's not hard, but what is it actually going to tell us? So it's really interesting because it sounds to me, at least from this conversation, and obviously I'm just getting scratching the surface, but that there's a lot of accurate and valuable data that can come out of these affiliate programs and be evaluated when so much of marketing measurement right now feels up in the air.
Yeah, that's a great point, and there's a lot more data that people they don't realize, and from these platforms, and especially with us, we can track everything. And so, the interesting thing on that is you talk about the attribution stuff. So we've dealt a lot with customers that have influencers, and so with influencers, they create a sale. They're out there promoting a product on Instagram, they're out there on YouTube selling something, they're giving out codes, and they're starting a sale, but often they don't get credit for the sale because somebody goes and uses a coupon at the last minute saying, oh, I'm interested, but I want to use a coupon. And so that attribution attributes the sale to the coupon company. And so these influencers lose their revenue from stuff that they're the ones who are creating the deal in the first place. And so with us, we have something called first touch attribution, which allows basically the person who created the sale in the first place that a customer went to get credit for the sale. And so
Mm,
that is something that like data has allowed us to do to allow our customers to see who's really driving interest and versus just who's kind of getting credit in the end. And
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that's been a really big thing for the industry, and also a really kind of controversial topic, because you're thinking, well, are these coupon sites really how much are they helping, or are they a burden? Because like if you're going to offer a discount to a customer which they're not even eligible for, that's an issue too. Like sometimes they automatically inject codes and they don't even the customer hasn't earned that, so that's maybe hurting your business. And yeah, so like the attribution side, like we've found that our customers can choose what they want to do. They can have first and last touch attribution. They can do first touch only. So they have a bunch of different options. And we
Hmm.
actually had a company that does like supplements, like bodybuilding supplements, who changed their whole model to first touch attribution. And they had a really, really great uptick in results, because these influencers were thinking like, you know what, I can kind of present something how I want using my style, and if people want to know more about it, like I know I'm going to get credit for it. And so they've done really well with that.
Ah,
And so
interesting.
it's something that is people are looking into more and more every day, especially with influencers or people who are just kind of generating this word of mouth. Because and even with content too, like if you're reading a review and then you decide to look for a coupon code before you make a purchase. You want to make sure that review gets credited as well for creating the
Mm-hmm.
sale. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's been a big topic with us about first touch versus last touch. And we give people the options to, they can customize their tracking however they want. So they can definitely see what matters the most to them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. Um, I love that about be able to see I guess it's the upstream impact, right, of an influencer being able to feel a little bit more like they can lean into their own personal style and stay kind of on brand for them,
Yeah.
um,
And
because of the
that's kind
incentive
of,
structure. Yeah.
yeah, and sorry to interrupt, but that's kind of like where we're just another example of how content's becoming more valuable, because it's basically now you're able to track just these word of mouth kind of these ways that people find out about things, which in the past you would think, oh yeah, well, I assume they just found out through this coupon site. Like you wouldn't assume that you couldn't tell that somebody like went through and did a post about it, somebody did a video about something. So like content now is getting seen and getting credit for creating sales, which is huge.
Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, I think it's always important to remember that the numbers are signals of something, and what we care about most is the something, and to not get too lost in the sauce. I was thinking about this because, as I said, we're putting together a scorecard of sorts inside of my company right now, and one of the things I was insistent on, I was like, we need just like the notes column, right? The qualitative catch-all, because I can't tell you how many people I talk to in person and they comment on my LinkedIn. And I'm like, you're not in my LinkedIn. You're not leaving comments. You're not liking but they're like, you're all over my LinkedIn. I'm always seeing you on LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
so like the fact, those in real life interactions that aren't being caught up in the metrics, I was like, we have to have a way to capture these too, because this is also really important information. So I love that.
Yeah, for sure. The context is really important. And even today, like we're looking at our own data and I'm just like, this is a lot of numbers, but like, what does it mean? And that's something that our team works a lot on. We kind of figure out like, what is the story behind these numbers? Like, what is it telling? And that's a big part of having success too, is just knowing how to interpret the data and knowing what is a big deal and what is just a month, variation. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Um, so I want to kind of switch gears now and start to move into our one big idea. Perhaps before we do, we could talk about, I feel like you're at this interesting kind of, I don't know, barbell, because to me there are two big ideas that I'm hearing in conversation and discourse right now, right? A lot. There's obviously AI everywhere, all over the place, ubiquitous. We're going to talk about that. But there's also opposite of AI, like relationships, person to person, and you're sort of in there too. So I'm curious, before we fully transition to AI, what it's like to kind of have a foot in both of those spaces.
Yeah, it is weird, and it's something that I've been doing a lot, in the last year or so, and all these things too. I feel like they came on so quickly. Like it last year, we were not talking about any of this stuff, and it's like it's changed so much, and I would say it's definitely an interesting kind of balance. Our head of partnerships, Ed Sabalos, was saying that essentially AI is going to make people more human, which is sort of a strange. I thought that was a strange thing that he said, but he's completely right, because what it does is that the human side of things is like almost even more important now, because you're really you can quickly create something and you can quickly throw something out there, but if it's not thought about, if it's not well formed, if you don't get it to the right people, if you don't know how to present it, it's not going to be successful. And so, yeah, I've been dealing with both. And so I would say just in the last year, my role has changed a lot with interpersonal stuff, like things like this, for example, things like, in person, meetings with people to discuss co-marketing stuff, which we wouldn't have done as much before. Like there's been a lot more emphasis on how to use these things, how to explain them. And so I would say that the human side kind of comes into it with just getting the most out of the content. So like explaining the purpose of it, explaining how to use it, getting it to the right people. That's the human side. So that's something that is becomes more important, and also something that was sort of like a lost art, I think, before with content. So it was just kind of, as you were saying, just kind of siloed before, and so now
Mhm.
it's up to the marketer's job to basically figure out how to use this document, and that's been a bigger emphasis on things we've been doing for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It is interesting to see go out and build relationships, like, sort of being repositioned. It's like, "That's
yeah,
what we're doing now." It's like, "Oh, cool. That's seems like that was always a good idea." But,
yeah,
marketers
yeah,
love a brand. They love to, like, brand something and make it hot and new. Um,
yeah.
so let's go now to I wanna hear a little bit more about, um I know there's been a real focus for you on AI in your processes and in your role. So tell us a little bit more about that and let's kind of get into it. Let's hear what's there.
Yeah. So in terms of AI, essentially, like before, what we were doing is we would do this, we're doing the same things that we did in the past, but we're just doing them at a lot quicker pace. And so kind of how it works for us is that we get that there is you can put out these things really quickly, but they're just going to get lost in this kind of AI slop world that like is not going to matter. So we try to, what we do with AI is try to make quality content like as fast as we can and make it where it's actually enjoyable to read. And so what we've done in the last year or so is we've done a couple different things differently. So the first is that it's definitely transformed our case study process. So we would
Mhm.
do on average before maybe like one case study a quarter. And now we can do a case study like maybe one a week. It's really fast. And so how AI has helped us is that we'll just have a conversation with somebody and we'll have some questions ready and we'll just talk to them and just kind of let them talk about whatever's interests them, whatever they're passionate about. And then we'll transcribe that and then we'll put that into some gems and using Google Gemini, and that will come out with like a basic structure for a press release, or excuse me, for a case study. And then from there, we're able to kind of you edit that and give it a human feel and make it interesting. We're able to quickly change the focus of something. So with case studies, it's the hook is like the most important thing. So like, why does somebody want to read this in the industry that may not know anything about affiliate marketing? Why would somebody who has like an e-commerce product, why would they care about a case study that deals with a nutraceutical product? So like kind of we want to make it just as interesting as possible. And so with AI, we can quickly say, you know what, this hook is not too exciting. Please change it to this route. And that will give us a nice draft and we're able to move from there. And then the process, then we send it back to the client and, they can make edits there and it's allowed us to speed it up dramatically. So it's like a 1 or 2 day process versus a week
Mhm.
process of trying to figure out these hooks and everything. And so it automates a lot of the routine structural stuff that would slow us down. With case studies, I'd say that's one big way that we use it. Another thing is we do something called master classes. And so with them, it's really interesting. So we'll just have a conversation with somebody, similar process, but we've actually formatted it to have the articles show up well on the AI search engines. So it's a new area where content is becoming more and more important and where content is older articles are surfacing now, like articles that were written a long time ago are surfacing. And so we're able to show up in a lot more conversations now just through these chats we have with people and we'll use AI to kind of make it the format of it well. And I would say that the big thing though is we always have like a human editor. So like we have our team review things like we'll say, hey, this is okay, but we need to expand on it. We need to, use our own work on it. And it just allowed us with, article creation with case studies, we can move so much faster now. And so
Mhm.
I think with the AI stuff, it's about learning how to utilize it and not having it completely replace writing because I'm a big fan of writing compelling content. Like that's where what I've always done. And I think that we can still use AI to do that. You just have to have it kind of create the structure and kind of automate the parts that are more manual and tedious. And
Mhm.
and so I would say that AI you can use that to do that. But we're also seeing with AI like other people just throwing out stuff. Like we were seeing someone recently I saw on LinkedIn where somebody was automating just responses to LinkedIn posts, and so it's kind of like you got to start wondering like why you're using this technology, you know? And so I would say that with us, it's allowed us to move a lot faster and allowed us to kind of get a head start on a lot of these things.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, I think our firm in general, we say like we're not anti-AI, we're pro-human. And the fact is we use it quite often in various parts of our processes. And when you talked about conversations to transcripts, like that is something that I've used for a really long time, and I just can't tell you what a world of like, I used to just take notes live, like
Hmm.
transcribe conversations
Yep.
while I was doing interviews at the same time, and whatever got captured by my notes, that was it. If I couldn't type it quickly enough, it was gone, you know? Um, so there are certain things even on the margins, I think, even outside of the core content creation that are so, so useful. Um,
Yeah.
and then
And I was gonna,
yeah,
if you don't mind me interjecting, I'll say one thing
sure.
that was interesting with that is that like we're able to do things we couldn't with content before. So like I went to a conference recently and I just took a microphone and essentially just recorded the conversation and that became a case study. So like
Yeah.
that concept was not even a something that existed, you know, before for us. So yeah, it's super interesting what you can do with it just from a creation and a production side of it.
Yeah, and just having access now, I think, in spaces where you didn't before, because the idea of capturing something and then recording it and outsourcing it and getting it back, and it was too expensive and too time consuming. Um, I'm curious. Okay, I have two questions. So the first one is you talked about really being able to pick up the kind of speed, right, with which you're publishing certain types of assets. And it sounds, I'm going to assume that you also have everything that happens on either side really dialed in, because in my experience, we've worked on plenty of case studies where the hardest parts aren't creating the case study once you have all the information. The hardest part is everything leading up to the customer buy-in and everything that happens afterward till you can hit publish. And those pieces I think are so important. Those are like, that's like what makes it a program and not just pushing to get a post out. Um, so tell me a little bit about kind of how have you dialed things in to make sure that what's happening on either side in that system is working just as well as the new speed you're acquiring with AI?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like that kind of goes back to where we're talking about the human side of things is getting these things approved because you're right, that is a huge challenge. Like we've had case studies before where we've gotten all the way to approval and then the client will say no and then is kind of like stuck with this, you know, case study just floating out there and that does happen still, but I would say for us, we do a lot more qualifying and ensuring that success. So like we will when we're reaching out to people, we'll say, "Hey, here's the case study. Like, do you guys normally do this? Like, what's the approval process? Who do you work with on the team? Like, we'll get the right person first, and then beyond that, we'll just kind of ensure that they know that we expect this to come out, and we want to do whatever we can to increase the likelihood. So we'll say, you know, hey, I know you might think this is kind of for formality, but could you run this by your CEO? Like, we'll make sure that um, everything is done to kind of ensure success and we'll also give them really easy ways to make edits, so we'll put everything on a Google Doc. They can change stuff, they can get rid of stuff they don't like, so even then they'll see something quickly if they're concerned about it that we can easily change things. And then we'll also just kind of work with them to ensure a date for when these things will be promoted because without a date it's kind of like it's just a thing where you're just sitting out there and you don't know when things are actually going to happen. And so yeah, we'll make sure that a date is set up and also it kind of deals with it goes back to kind of who you want to approach. Like if you know somebody is more of a company's more of a marketing centric focus and they want to promote stuff, they've done a lot of co-marketing, those would be better to approach. But yeah, it is a lot of follow-up. So I'm always following up after a case study's done, saying, "Hey, you know, have you reviewed it? Is there anything we do to help?" So definitely staying on them is kind of a big challenge too. Those are kind of the ways that we ensure that they get published quicker.
Yeah.
Just kind of communicating and letting people know, "Hey, we really want to get this out. Like this is going to be a great value to you." You know, sharing what we can do for them with promotion also is important too.
Yeah, definitely. And I think something that I tend to take for granted in case studies, but then I see LinkedIn posts that make me think I shouldn't take it for granted, is the idea, as you said, it's a good case study is a co-promotion, right? It is
Yep.
definitely not, they were so terrible before, and then we came in and we saved the day, and now
Yep.
everything
Yep.
is great, and we helped them be winners. Like, no CEO wants to sign off on that, you know?
Exactly.
Um,
And we
yeah.
always try to make them the star. So that's the
Hmm.
most important thing. And so we want to show their success. It also helps validate just the industry as a whole. So if they're seeing success, then this is another reason why affiliate marketing is something that that's just great for the industry and people should know about it in the business world. So I would say that, yeah, we try to always make them the star, and that's a big part
Yeah.
of it. We don't ever. We also watch the language. Like it's really easy to kind of write negatively with these things. Like you were saying, like yeah, they were terrible before, but now they Everflow has just changed their life, and we want to make sure that listen, these are businesses that are growing. They have challenges. Like it's not they're doing anything wrong. They're just trying to do more. And so yeah, they've had issues with processes, and that's totally part of business. And so we always are very complimentary of them and show off their success.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So I'm curious, you really embraced AI. Was, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, 3 years ago, was it a natural fit for you? Is it something that you were very inclined to, or is it something you had to kind of, go on a journey with?
Yeah, I would say that I was very skeptical about it. I thought like, well, how is this thing gonna just come in and just write everything we're doing and just like it's gonna take everyone's jobs? And it seems very. I was a little concerned about it, but I think we've done a good job of kind of, or our head of marketing, Michael Cole, has done a great job of kind of breaking down why, how to use it and what the point is versus just use it and do whatever. And like he's given us a really good step by step kind of roadmap on how we're going to use it. And so embracing like how it makes your job better has been really, really great for me. Like as far as knowing kind of how will this help me do more and like things like the case studies, like I can get to so many more now. And like how will it help me streamline and save time? Like it's a big deal too. So like we've done a good job on as a team kind of introducing these things and introducing why they're going to help you out versus like just this is a new thing and deal with it. Like we're able to kind of explain the why of using it. So that's made me feel a lot more comfortable. And then also too, just the more I've used the stuff, I'm like, okay, this is how I use it, and I use it differently than other people do. Like I did something where I was trying to think like, hey, I was doing my year end summary for like my performance and how I've done in the company. And so what I did was I took Slack channel, everything that's been talked about, like in our marketing Slack channel, and I took that and I took put it into Notebook LM, which is like another
Mhm.
product, AI product. And with that, I basically went in and I said, okay, what have I done? What are my highlights for the year? What things like that? And it gave me like a great list, and like it allowed me to kind of quickly write what I've been doing. And that was something before where I would just be like, well, I got to think back what I did in January, like what's going on. And I got so
Have
many
some
things going
recency
on.
bias
It's
in
hard
there.
to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I would say that it just like I started warming up to it the more I used it, and then also seeing like it's also as good as whoever's operating it. So someone like myself or the people on our team, they know what makes good content, so they're able to use it to get more interesting things. Like we're getting more interesting articles, we're getting interesting case studies. We're able to kind of look for stuff and utilize it to grab stuff that I think a lot of people would miss. So once we start using it, like we start realizing that it's here, it's not going anywhere. And so it's something that we have to just figure out the best way to embrace it. And so, yeah, I was a little skeptical at first because I do pride myself on writing quality stuff. And so it was just kind of like, what is this new thing? Like, it's not going to replace what we're doing. And like, it's going to be a hassle to learn, but it hasn't been too bad, and I definitely could be using it more. I think I just kind of like am using it for what I feel is necessary for to keep up a consistent production level. But like, yeah, I know there's so much more I can do with it, and so it's just gonna in a year or so, who knows what we'll be doing with it. So
Yeah. It's interesting. I think for me, I think personally, the best benefit of AI being around is it has pushed me, I think, as a leader, and a communicator and a content expert to be more dynamic and like have my head up more and see what's going on. And there are even small things in my business now that I'm starting to kind of question or push around like, well, is this possible? Like, do we have to take for granted that we have to get this file from here and download it to our machine and then open up Google Drive and upload the file here and then save the link there? And the truth, Tony, is that a lot of that is not AI, it's straight automation for certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I even feel like that is more at the forefront for me, and I'm less it's just opened me up more to like, could I take this piece of the business and it's fine, right? It works
Yep.
well. It's very systematized, but it's more manual than is ideal. Is it AI or is it something else that could start to streamline that? And I think I'm asking that question more often now than I was before.
Yeah.
So, admittedly, like I think it's uncomfortable in a lot of ways, and keeping up and deciding, as you said, like how much you need or want to keep up with the very latest and greatest versus, kind of where you are on the adoption curve. Um, but it's definitely pushed me in that regard to be open to a
Yeah.
lot more possibilities.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you start rethinking everything. Like why am I doing this a certain way? Like why are we, what is this process and manual thing? Like we've done that where we've taken processes which we've always done, and just because we're open to new concepts now, and we're just like, well, why are we always doing it like this? Maybe we can speed it up somehow. And yeah, it's there's been a lot of different things that have come across just changed due to this whole thing. And yeah, it's interesting to see, like we had our newsletter, which was something that our team works really hard on, especially our newsletter person Jordan. And she was basically doing it where every week she would kind of have the same process, and she was just like, well, the newsletter doesn't look nice. It's what's the best way to change it and kind of update it and make sure we're getting the most out of it. And so she did this whole redesign of the newsletter, and it's been fantastic. And that's something that we would never consider before. Like why change the newsletter? It's working okay. We have a decent subscriber base. Like, why even look into that? And so it's opening a lot more processes of like looking into things, which, yeah, we never considered before. We're even doing things like you can look through your email and just be like, well, you know what? Please show me all my unread emails and please delete all of them, or please, give me the top five that I need to respond to. It's just all these things that you don't even, it's opening us up to a whole new world of stuff. So it's super interesting. And yeah, I think you're spot on with that for sure.
Yeah, appreciate the conversation on this. Before I let you go, I want to transition into our final segment, the last word. So every guest gets these same 5 questions, and just go with your gut on these. Are you ready?
I'm a little freaked out, but I'm ready to go.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, just we're good. We're good.
Yes, yes, yes. A little nervous, but I'm ready. Yes.
Question number 1, what's your favorite word to say out loud?
Oh gosh. Oh man. What is my Uh, I think it may not be a word, but any sort of like new slang I'm a fan of. So any like whatever the kids are saying, I'm for.
Okay.
So like I would be somebody who was saying like 6'7" a bunch, or somebody who's talking about people being low key goated, and I'm all for kind of just crazy slang. So I say that's
Oh,
my favorite thing to say. Yeah. Yeah.
great,
But
great.
people get really sick of me for that, but I'm a big fan of it. So
So
yes.
quick sidebar. I have a daughter who's 7. So obviously 6'7"
Yep.
is just rampant in our house. Went to Disney World a few weeks ago for her birthday with my 2 nieces and nephew. And we were in It's a Small World. And the whole time in the ride, they kept like on the build up to the ride, they were talking about how all the dolls were going to be doing 6'7", right?
Yeah.
So we're in there and they come off the ride and they're like, "Okay," that's what they call me. It wasn't 6'7" because the dolls do this with their palms down, and they were like, "That's 41."
Yep. Yep.
Whatever
Yep.
that
That's it.
is.
Yep. A- And yeah, that's great. I feel like then I did a little bit of 41, but yeah, I feel like it's all getting played out, but I got to be on the cutting edge of anything and just keep it going. I think my friends and family hate it, but it's very entertaining. So I, I have to keep doing it. So yes.
Nice. Nice. All right. Question 2. What's a word you know from reading, but you aren't totally sure how to pronounce it out loud?
Oh, I would say that there's always debate over forte versus fort. I don't know. Like, I've read that sometimes it should be pronounced fort, like if something's your forte, but is I've read the official pronunciation is fort, but it should be not forte. I don't know. That one always confuses me. And I
All
feel like
Fr-
nobody talks about that. Yeah.
That's a French word, right? I think.
I maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. And I
My
feel
answer to this is generally all French words. This question.
yeah.
So I feel you.
Yeah, that one is all, and I feel like there's people should be saying fort and they don't. And yeah, and also too, this very similar thing with a moot point, I feel like is not I know how to say it, but with that, I feel like moot point was actually supposed to be just be like a discussionable topic, and now it's used mainly as like it's an irrelevant point or it's already been
Yeah.
stated and it's not the official meaning. And so those things kind of weird me out more than I think knowing how to say things. Like I just don't
Yeah.
understand meaning situation. I feel like there's no clarity and it's just kind of out there. So
Fair. Fair.
yep.
Question 3. One phrase you're
Yes.
saying you wish could be retired for good.
Oh, I think when people say honestly when they're talking. So like they say like honestly, this is, this is how things are going, or honestly, this is what I'm thinking. Like I think they should be honest all the time. So I think that's redundant. So
Question 4. What's one communication practice or principle that's non-negotiable for you?
oh you mean like it's like in personal or work or anything and just kind of
Anything. Wide open here.
I'd say that always texting is better than calling. I don't see there's no reason to use the phone anymore. I feel like the texting is the way to go.
Wow, strong stance.
Yes, yes,
Millennial stance there.
yes. Yeah, I'm very much with the youth, and I feel like there's no reason for it. Like you can get the words out. And then calls, I feel like when you're on a call with somebody, like you don't know how long they're going to go. And I enjoy talking to people. So I'm like a curmudgeon, just, I don't want them to call. But once they do, I enjoy it. So it's kind of it's a weird thing. So I would say, yeah, definitely text before calling pretty
All
much all the
right.
time.
All right. What's the last thing you read, heard, or watched that really stuck with you?
Uh, I would say that, probably the master classes that we've been doing at Everflow, like I get to edit all them. And so with that, I'm seeing like a ton of like interesting stuff. And it's like people's knowledge that has never really been brought to like given to the world has been being kind of put out there. And just there's a really interesting person that we had a call with. He's a named Jason Akatif, and he's like been in the affiliate space for a long time. And so he kind of explained like his process for being successful, and it was super interesting to see kind of his mind and how he thinks. And like I thought that was really interesting because it was just like this is stuff that we never could figure out before, and now it's like now we're hearing how somebody does stuff and how they're successful, and it's like I feel like this up content is so useful and so interesting, and it puts it brings a whole new knowledge sector out there, which we didn't have before. So I'd say that like to me was super interesting. So
Awesome. Tony, thank you so much for joining us today. If our listeners want to learn more about you, where should they go to find you?
yeah, so you can go to you can contact me at everflow.io is one way to do it. And Tony at everflow.io is the easy way to get hold of me through email, or you can go on LinkedIn. I think my LinkedIn is Tony C. Cohn. So you can find me there as well. And happy to chat. And also too at Everflow, we're all about like the right fit. So we could say, hey, this is, maybe an affiliate program is not the right for you. Maybe this is something you're not ready for, or maybe we think it is a fit. Here's why. So we'll definitely give you like an honest opinion, and we want you to be successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Cool. Thank you so much.
That's it for this episode of Expertly Said. We're produced by Every Little Word, a boutique content and communications agency. If you liked what you heard, you know what to do. Subscribe, share the episode with a colleague, or leave us a review. If you want to connect with me directly, please do. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Kristen Sweeney. Thanks for listening. Talk soon.